day 9, and today wasn't really that successful, unfortunately. I went to my Monday got canceled. It got pushed back to Thursday or Wednesday. I forgot. I think it's Thursday. So that's still a big deal. I mean, I still have that meeting to look forward to. Thank goodness he decided to tell me last night, a little late last night, so I can, figure out a plan today, which didn't really work out. I went to UNESCO, but they couldn't see me, unfortunately. Um, so that was a disappointment. Usually I just walk to a place and they can see me. They're very hospitable, but today it was difficult for them. So I was going to go to the Ministry of Education, and as you can see, I got a little bit of a haircut because it was needed, not very needed. It was, it was. I mean, I'm losing my hair, but at the same time, I still like to look nice. Um, so I went to the whatever. I just saw a barber shop and I went in, and I used Google Translate and I tell him I want it short on the sides and a little fuzzy on the top, a little long on the top to hide, the gaps and whatnot. It's still pretty bad on the crown there, but I mean, whatever. It is what it is. So I just expected a haircut, but I didn't just get a haircut. All right, he began cutting my hair, and he did a nice little fade up. He took a long time. It was the longest haircut I've ever had, but it was more than just a haircut. It was like a full service kind of thing. And so in the middle of the haircut, he just started to put this crap on me. And then he goes, "It's facial." So I'm like, okay, it's facial, right? But like, I don't care, I don't go for that stuff. Very, how you say, very, I don't get into that. I just shave. I don't even put aftershave on. I just put body lotion on there. It's just like I keep my face moisturized. So anyway, he put a mud thing on me, and I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. So after that, he gave my head a massage with this instrument. After that, he took a massive Q-tip, set it on fire, and stuck it right next to my ear and burned off my ear hairs. Then after that, he went and trimmed my back. Yes, whatever, too much information. But then also he cut my cheeks, like right here, and then he went and he trimmed my eyebrows. And then of course, he turned on the sink, and I thought he went like that because of course, it's very difficult to find anyone who speaks English. So he went like that, and so I thought I was gonna wash the crap off my face, but then he stuck my head in and he gave me a shampoo, and then he washed my face. So it was an ordeal, It was not something I looking forward to, But anyway, paid the guy, and I went to the Ministry of Education, and then I was told I was at the wrong place, and then that I needed to go somewhere else, and then I looked up, that place that he told me to go, and it didn't exist. So I just went back to my room, and I read a lot about Turkish trust in the army and the police, and there's a high level of trust for the police and army. They're the most trusted, let's say, institutions in the entire country. And it goes back to this, the park I went to yesterday, the Trust Park, and I think that's crucial. And then I did some reading on education systems and how nationalism is a fundamental part of the education system to teach kids to be proud of their country, and just to prepare them for any challenges that they may experience regarding their country, their heritage, their experience, their, whatever it is. Of course, part of that would be the Sevres Treaty, and I think that's going to play an essential role in my research, or my project, excuse me. So after that, I went to get some. I walked back and I had a burger. It was a bit disappointing of a burger. It's a very sad looking thing. It's a lot of bread, but the meat was like, imagine one Big Mac patty, but the fries are good, and they had some tzatziki that tastes just like another tzatziki. I also had a Tuborg beverage, adult beverage, and that was quite nice, very smooth. I haven't had one. It's not a Turkish beer, and I need to try that. I need to try that before I leave, so I can get a good sense of what that means. What's a Turkish? It's a Muslim country. It's a secular country. Um, anyway, so I had like dinner, eggplant, onions, some salsa, salad. That's raw. That's supposed to be raw kibbe, but it's not meat. And then some bread, and then the main course, I had lamb. I wanted to try the lamb, and with tip that ran about $20, which isn't too bad because it's lamb, and I think it's a rare commodity. Um, but this whole thing got me thinking, because when I was there, two people asked me where I was from. So that got me thinking, why? Because when they said I'm from the United States, they didn't really buy that. So I said Lebanese originally, and I started to think about that. Anytime I meet somebody, like in the U.S. and Canada, anywhere I go, in Greece, people want to know where I'm from, and I'm sure that's everywhere, right? But I'm thinking about it. What does that matter, really? What does that matter? Where somebody's from? And then in particular, sometimes I get asked, okay, so which part of Lebanon are you from? And obviously there's a reason for that, because I think people know that Lebanon is comprised of Muslims and Christians. I'm a Christian myself. So why would that? So if I say Mount Lebanon, that means I'm Christian, right? I'm a Christian. If you say other places, you can kind of figure it out. But that central location, it's either Druze or Muslim. So why would that matter? And I got to thinking, it matters because once you know the group that you belong, then you can better know the person. So instead of knowing the person, you have a shortcut and you try to identify the person's group. Now, I have never spent a very long time. I think the last time I've been to Lebanon was 2002. That's a long time. I spent 6 weeks. I think that's the longest I've ever spent in that country. Prior to 2001, I spent 3 weeks. And then before that, I don't know. I think the last time I was in '94. So I was a kid, right? And then before that, I think it was '87, and I was a baby. So all that is to say, I never really spent much time. I don't speak the language, right? I grew up in the Caribbean. I got my degree in Canada, my bachelor's and master's, and then a PhD in the United States, right? I've been in the United States since 2010, and I visited the United States pretty much every year as a child, and then in university only a few times, but So what I'm saying is, you ask these questions. I think this goes to everyone. Like in the United States, if I'm ever in a small town, people ask me, where are you from? Even when I was in Michigan, people were asking me where I was from. When I was in northern Michigan, and they want to know where you're from because they want to know what your group is, or who your group is. And because it's a shortcut to get to know you, because they lock you into that group. And I think that's why nationalism is still very important. I think nationalism is is a word for it. I don't know if I'm going to say it correctly, but it's a shibboleth, if I'm saying that right. A shibboleth is a custom, principle, or belief distinguishing a particular class or group of people, especially a long-standing one regarding as outmoded or no longer important. I don't think so. That's not true. It is a custom, principle, belief distinguishing a particular class or group of people. It is. And it's from the biblical story where I believe the Benjaminites, the tribe of Benjamin in the Bible, they they couldn't say the sh part. They could only go si, si. And so if somebody said si, then they knew they were from Benjamin, and they got killed, I think. So the story goes. I think that is going to be a very valuable part of my project. I think when it comes to meat in India, if you eat meat, maybe that means you're Hindu. If you don't eat meat, excuse me, that maybe mean that you're Hindu. If you eat meat, that means you're Muslim. If you eat pork, that means you're probably a Christian. If you eat pork, that means if you don't eat pork, you're probably a Muslim. I'm sure that these identifying factors are going to be huge in my study. Even maybe the words that people use, like if you say Constantinople, Greek. If you say Istanbul, Turkish. If you say North Macedonia, you're a traitor. If you say Macedonia, you're alright. And I'm sure if I think carefully, I can figure out more examples. But this is going to be huge. I think I made a massive breakthrough. Like sometimes you don't realize things until you have a moment just sit down. And today was that day because I didn't get to do anything. I was walking and got a haircut. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. And I don't have any, unfortunately I forgot to get anything because I had dinner outside. I got a tea bag. That's the tea. It's showing backwards, but I think in the video it'll show frontwards. So that's it, and it's a black tea. It smells great. It's from the Rize province, probably, and it's famous. So the Turks started to grow tea in they first experimented with the Japanese and Chinese teas back in 1888, and there was some R&D that was done by the government, but ultimately they didn't really take off until like 1920s, 30s, 40s, and by the 50s, then it became the most popular drink. And so a lot of culture in Turkey is driven from the top down, from the government downward, from the state downward, because of this trust, I believe. The trust that is generated from above goes down, especially for the army. And in the United States, I think it's the culture drives politics. But in the case of Turkey, it's different. And that's why Turkey, I think, enjoys tea. Now they're trying to encourage people to drink Ayran more. Not sure why. I'm gonna have to investigate. But there's some trouble. People have not been drinking as much as other drinks. So yeah, lots to think about there. So tomorrow I'm gonna see somebody for lunch and hopefully get some good stuff. And what else? I'm gonna try to go to the Ministry of Agriculture. I found a way. It's like a four-hour walk. I found a way to get there by the train. So that's a 40-minute metro ride, and it's pretty easy to ride the metro. It's 15 Turkish lira, which is I think 50 cents per ride. So it should be very easy. Maybe I can get a day pass and see, do some exploring. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, thank you very much, and see you next time.